What is going on, brothers? This is David Lyon, founder of Evolving Man. So for you, as someone who wants to live a purposeful, meaningful life, you probably know that the choices you make, both on a daily basis, but also the kind of bigger decisions, that they have an impact on your life, right? Like, what is it that you say yes to? What are the foods that you eat? What's the information you take in? What are the people you surround yourself by? All these things matter, absolutely. There's nothing for me to argue about that. And one thing that I've noticed a lot in myself and with other people is that we can come at this making the right decision from a particular place inside of us that is deeply stressed and deeply anxious, where it almost doesn't matter what choice we make because the stress comes from being afraid of making the wrong choice. Okay, so I'll give you an example. We all have kind of this idea, right, that eating healthy is good. And so it might kind of vary, like what is healthy and what isn't. But let's say that I have the choice between eating a salad and eating bread with butter and cheese. So probably my mind would say, well, eat the salad because it's healthier, right? But my body might really feel like taking in, for whatever reason, the bread with butter and cheese. Right? And so what I know from myself in these moments is that I can get so stressed about, okay, but what is the right decision right now? I kind of feel like I want to eat this, but I know that this is healthier. And there's so much stress happening in my body that it's like, whether I eat one or the other doesn't matter because I'm already deeply stressed, and the stress that would come from, you know, eating something unhealthy is probably smaller than the stress I'm already putting myself into. Right? Let me say that again, because this is really important. When you stress yourself before making a decision so much about making the right choice and being in that anxious space, in many situations, it doesn't even matter which choice you make because the harm is already made by stressing out so deeply. Okay? Now, I don't want you to go into the next level trap of like, oh, now I'm stressed that I'm stressed and I shouldn't be stressed, but I'm stressed. It's like, it's fine. We all get stressed. You're not going to die. You're resilient enough to survive this. And what I want to point to is the fact that maybe stressing less and just making the choice that is more intuitive, even if it's the wrong one, even if it has consequences that you're going to have to bear that might be uncomfortable, might be healthier for you and less stressful for you than stressing out beforehand and trying to find the right choice. And so for me, what this points to is this. When I'm in a space of I am okay as I am, call it self-love, call it presence, call it self-connection, whatever you want to call it, when I'm in that place and I allow myself to stay in that place, regardless of which choice I make, that reduces the amount of stress to a very large degree, and it increases the likelihood for me to learn something from whatever choice I make. And that is the actual commitment that you can make. The commitment is not make always the right choice. The commitment is, regardless of which choice I make, I stay connected to myself and I'm willing to learn from what happens. Okay, and so that takes out some of the stress of like, what's the right thing to do? Maybe the right thing to do is making the wrong choice by having a particular experience and then integrating that experience. And maybe that's in the long run much better than making the right choice and eating the salad as opposed to the bread with cheese and butter. We don't know. In truth is we have no freaking idea what is actually the real best choice. Our information will always be limited, and no matter how much research you make, given the internet, there's limitless amount of information out there. You're never gonna get to that place. You're never gonna get to that place of, I absolutely know that this is the right choice, and if I take this choice, it's gonna be absolutely terrible. Now, there might be exceptions to that, but the point that I'm making is that what you wanna focus on is that regardless of what choice you make, you can allow yourself to stay connected to yourself. You can allow yourself to, give yourself permission to love yourself. Right? The bigger pain in making the wrong choice is making it mean that means you cannot love yourself, that you're unlovable because you made a wrong choice. That's the big stress. And that's what the anxiety beforehand is about. If that wasn't there, it would be just like, oh, cool. Literally, there's two paths here in front of me, and it's like, okay, here's the left path and here's the right path. I think I'm going to go there, and maybe I'm going to realize that it wasn't the right path. But there's not this kind of stress of like, but what if it's the wrong path? And what if I went on the other and I would discover something amazing and now I'm missing out on it, and there's something wrong with me because my intuition told me to go this way. You see, like that's the real stress. Okay, so to kind of wrap this up, when you notice yourself to be in this place of like anxiety and wanting to figure out the right choice, take a step back and say, no matter which choice I make, I'm going to be present with myself. I'm going to learn from the experience, and I'm okay. And then you take whichever choice feels more expansive, and then you learn from the experience. And now, when the experience after making a choice is uncomfortable, you don't say, see, that was the wrong choice, I should have gone the other way. How do you know? Maybe going through that discomfort is exactly what you need. Okay? So remember that you can always choose to keep loving yourself. You don't have to abandon yourself even if you make shitty decisions, and that will reduce the amount of stress that you put on yourself immensely. And with that reduced amount of stress, you will be able to make better choices. Full circle. All right, let me know if you have any questions about this. Share this message if you feel like more people should hear this. And as always, with Evolving Man, you're seen, you're loved, you're appreciated. Keep evolving, and I'll talk to you soon.